1-year term.
Okay, here we go. What will you propose to Ithaca College, Christopher, to ensure that city government, South Hill residents, and Ithaca College all pitch in to address efforts to maintain quality of life on South Hill, especially during the academic year?
Spoke a moment ago about community service requirements, and let me start by, or preface that by saying I employ a number of Ithaca College students, and they are not aware of the community service requirement that is placed on them. They have not participated in community service. They are sophomores, juniors, and seniors, so they have been freshmen just a couple years ago. The point being is that the program needs to be expanded. We need the students to have a better awareness of our neighborhoods, of our downtown. We as a community need to address the needs of our students more as well, to have that balance so that it's not a constant fight. But I think by incorporating the students more into the needs of our communities, into the needs of our neighborhoods, we're going to have more mutual understanding, there'll be more respect. I think what leads to a lot of the vandalism that we're seeing is a twofold thing. It's definitely a certain amount of disrespect. Disrespect to the neighborhoods, perhaps disrespect to yourself. And the other part of it, obviously, is that there's alcohol involved and there's certain judgment making that's been impaired. But for me, I'd work towards increasing that degree of mutual understanding, mutual respect. I'd also work to increase the working relationship between the Ithaca College Police Department and the Ithaca Police Department. I think that the Ithaca College Police Department could be more aggressive in addressing this situation. While they do a great job with a lot of things on campus, I think we need to pull that and get some help from them to address the things that are happening directly off campus, where our homes, businesses are located. All in all, for me, it really is about building awareness. I think if we start to push too aggressively on one side, as was mentioned, the reference to playing, I forgot what game it said, but you push it down on one side and it pops up on the other. Whack-a-ball, there you go. So I worry about that too, because that's a very real thing. It's a situation that's about counterbalance. It is a delicate situation. And I think the best way that we can approach it is to build mutual understanding.
So as we have here is something that JR was mentioning. We have a ghettoization of a community because of the density of students that we have here. What we can do, my understanding is that the relationship between Ithaca College and the South Hill Civic Association and the advances that our two communities have made in recent years as compared to 20-some-odd years of history has been significant. It's been slow. It takes longer than we would like, but Ithaca College has been, as far as I understand, been more and more proactive in recent months and years in trying to reach out and communicate with their students in terms of their responsibilities as members of our community. The kinds of incentives I would like to see in the city, again, go back to increasing the owner occupancy of our neighborhoods. One type of incentive that we might want to consider and might want to explore with Ithaca College, which I think would benefit all of us in a myriad of ways, is to see if Ithaca College would provide incentives to have more of their employees live in our neighborhoods rather than live in the town. And they would, by having their employees, owner-occupants, living in our neighborhoods, we would then start to dissolve the density of renters. We may also want to consider incentives to actually incentivizing our police employees to purchase homes in our neighborhoods. Provide incentives by saying, if you purchase a home in these particular neighborhoods, which we have concerns in terms of relationships, we as a city will pay your city property taxes. Of your property taxes that you pay, approximately 50% are school taxes, 20% are county taxes, and 30% are city taxes. Say on a $150,000 property, you're looking at about $4,000 a year. For that $4,000, you would have that presence in that neighborhood 24 hours a day, which would work to change the tenor of the neighborhood.
As Chris said, I thought this was going to be the last question, but this is the centerpiece of my campaign. Basically, paying for what they're doing. Basically, I think that the city really needs to be an advocate, and we need to make a cooperative stand with the other legislatures in this area. When I was at a county legislature meeting a few nights ago, they said that one of the gentlemen said that the county legislature has tried repeatedly to get some type of tax relief from the state, and that's why they don't do it again. And I've heard the exact same thing when I was on the board of fire commissioners. We've tried to get things done, and it didn't work, so we stopped. But we tell our kids, if at first you don't succeed, try again. We haven't done that. I think that we as a community, the city, the town, the village, the county, we need to go to the state legislature and say, look, they're not paying their fair share. We have to ask them for money each and every year. Our police department is overworked. They're working overtime. We can't have the patrols that we need in our community. We have got to ask repeatedly, and if it doesn't work the first time, we've got to ask every single year. Give us the legislation that will allow us to charge them for real estate taxes so that we can have a better quality of life in our community. We've got to be able to pay our police. We've got to be able to pay our fire department. Ithaca College right now pays nothing. They can have a number of false alarms up there. They pay nothing. Cornell pays $1.1 million a year. That's a drop in the budget to the fire department's budget. $7 million budget, they pay $1.1 million, $750,000 of that is earmarked to the fire department. Thank you.
This is a great question because we all know the problems, right? We know the problems. Noise and the trash, the zoning and the enforcement from the building department. And we know the answers too. I've seen, John was gracious enough a couple of years ago, when I first got on council, I wanted to be on all of the neighborhood listservs so I could hear what's going on. So I've tracked what's happening in your neighborhood through this listserv. And I see the answers every week. You need more enforcement from the building department. You need more enforcement from the police department. You need increased TCAP is greatly increased their Route 11, which is next, the double the Route 11. We know the answers. The question is, how do we ensure that the city government, South Hill residents, and Ithaca College all pitch in to making these answers happen? And that's about relationships. As you know, the college is in the town, which adds an extra layer of difficulty to what we have to do. We have to triangulate. We have to maintain a positive relationship with the town and the Ithaca College administration and loop them in to solve these problems. We've got to stay in a positive dialogue with them so that we, for example, the Ithaca College students, they want their own shuttle that will take them from campus to where they live, downtown and back. And that's a win-win. It's a win for them. It's safer. Right? It's more convenient. It's a win for this neighborhood because it means less noise, less foot traffic late at night. The question is, who pays for it? Same thing with the sidewalks. If we had a sidewalk, there's a direct route to the college. Again, a win-win. The question is, who pays for it? And there's no easy answer there. The answer is to stay in relationship, stay in a positive relationship with the town, stay in a positive relationship with the administration, continue to meet with them, as I already know, continue to meet with them regularly so we can make our case and we can get them to pitch in.
I believe one of the first things that we can do with this is really bring together the administrations of the city. Well, excuse me, let me back up. As mayor, I would bring together the administrations from Ithaca College. I would include the town because it's been pointed out that IC is in the town. And also the police departments. I believe both our city police, IC's police, we can all, and the sheriff's department, we can all sit at the table. And the main thing is that the city comes to the table and said, this is what our expectations are. And I should say that before we've done that, we would have met with you. I would bring the common council representatives and myself, and we will sit with you. I'll bring our city attorneys. And we will actually say, okay, you'll tell us this is what we need. And we're going to look and find out where our legal defenses are, what we have in our codes. What we have will actually give us the standing that we need to go to IC, to go to the town of Ithaca, to talk to the sheriff's department and say, these are our expectations. I believe that Ithaca as a city is well past its time to actually stand its ground. There are too many times that we've actually, I would say, deferred to other interests. And I think it's time that the City Hall stands up as the advocate for its residents, for yourselves, so that we actually set the standards, and anything that goes from that is a deviation as a benefit. I've run on a platform of community benefit, and this is one of the things that I believe that we can do. We can sit there and we can talk about what are some of the things that our neighbors need. Those things be in regards to traffic. How do we ease the traffic congestion? Do we increase the periodic patrols of speed enforcement? Excuse me. Do we talk about construction? How do we talk with IC so that when they have their building period, the neighbors who live along Coddington Road and even further in right here aren't bothered by the lights, are woken up at 5:30 in the morning by the staging of the trucks. So that, and sidewalks, you've heard sidewalks mentioned. I know that people would love to, I think people would love to see the sidewalk extended from the city line up to IC. Because as a student, drunk or sober, you probably feel like you're taking your chances to walk out there at nighttime instead of in here. So this is bridge building, but it is really starting the conversation with the city where we're coming from.
Go for it.
What's left for me? I agree with all the best ideas that you just heard here. And some of them I've been thinking about myself. What's that?
I said, and you disagree with the worst.
That was the unsaid but right. Let me throw this in. We have a renowned School of Communications up here at IC. We have a lot of young journalists. I would ask that IC give their students a lesson in journalism and in the value of the Fourth Estate by making sure that they come down here and investigate what goes on. And that an internal dialogue and maybe a little positive peer culture will come into this instead of adults just talking at them. See to it that there's an internal dialogue at IC that says, okay, some of our number just heaved a big rock right through somebody's front door, right into their house. This is behavior that you normally associate with hired goons or Klansmen. It's fantastic that this happened, and I hope I have the facts right. That's, again, why I'd like to be talking with you. I'd like to hear more facts about that. That's horrifying. And I think that there should be an internal dialogue on campus that says, okay, this happened. How do we feel about this? What do we think about this, that some of our number did this to this neighborhood? And start from there, I think. So, and again, I agree with many of the things that you just heard said, and certainly go work on them.